History is filled with the rise and fall of great empires. They built roads, armies, laws, and monuments that seemed destined to last forever. Yet time and again, they collapsed. The question is, why? The answer is not simply about armies or borders. More often than not, the fall of empires begins within. When morality crumbles, nations soon follow. The Roman Empire began with discipline, duty, and sacrifice. Roman soldiers conquered the known world. Roman engineers built aqueducts and cities that still stand today. Roman law shaped the very foundation of Western civilization, but the seeds of decline were sown not by enemies at the gates, but by rot within the soul of the empire. The pursuit of pleasure overtook the pursuit of duty. Corruption in politics became common, and honor was traded for wealth. Family life collapsed as divorce, decadence, and moral chaos replaced stability. By the time barbarian armies crossed into Rome, the empire had already hollowed itself out. The strongest walls cannot protect a people who have abandoned virtue. Centuries later, Spain rose to become the mightiest empire on earth. Fueled by exploration, faith, and courage, Spanish ships sailed across oceans. They spread Christianity, established new lands, and brought wealth from the New World. Yet with success came temptation. The wealth of empire turned into greed. Gold and silver from the Americas, instead of being invested in building Spain, were squandered. Nobility chased luxury, leaders neglected the hard work of governing, and worst of all, faith became a formality rather than a living guide. As Spain's moral backbone weakened, its empire unraveled. Wealth could not protect it. Power could not save it. Without the anchor of faith and virtue, the tide of decline swept it away. In more recent centuries, the British Empire stretched farther than any before it. The sun never sets on the British Empire, people used to say. Britain's navy ruled the seas. Its engineers built railroads and cities across continents, and its ideals of law and liberty shaped the modern world. But Britain too faced decline. Prosperity bred complacency. Faith that once inspired reformers, missionaries, and leaders gave way to secularism and doubt. Families weakened, and with them the character of the nation. Political leaders became more concerned with popularity than principle. The empire shrank, not only from wars or revolutions, but because the moral fire that once drove it dimmed. And today, Britain still wrestles with the consequences of forgetting the faith and virtues that made it great. The pattern is clear. Rome shows us what happens when duty is replaced by decadence. Spain shows us what happens when faith is forgotten. Britain shows us what happens when prosperity dulls moral conviction. Empires do not fall simply because enemies grow stronger. They fall because their people grow weaker, not in body, but in spirit. And so, what does this mean for us today? We live in an age of technology, comfort, and wealth unlike any time before. Yet we see familiar cracks appearing, families breaking down, faith mocked, virtue forgotten, and pleasure raised as the highest good. If history teaches us anything, it is this: no empire, no nation, no people can survive long without moral strength. Laws, armies, and wealth are powerless if the people themselves lose their sense of right and wrong. The true strength of a nation is not in its weapons or its riches. It is in its families, its faith, and its virtue. When people live with duty, honor, and self-restraint, nations rise. When they abandon these, nations fall. Empires may come and go, but truth does not change. If we learn from the past, if we hold fast to what is good and true, then we need not repeat the mistakes of those who came before us, because the fall of empires is not inevitable. The strength of virtue can preserve a people, and morality, lived, defended, and passed on, can still build a future worth leaving to our children.